Don't hate me because I'm beautiful.
Eric Matthews might have had one of the strangest character evolutions in sitcom history. When Boy Meets World first introduced him, he was everything Corey wanted him to be. He was cool, he was confident, and he was very popular. He was the older brother who seemed to have the entire world completely figured out. But by the time the series finale rolled around, Eric was known as the lovable, unpredictable wildcard who was always doing something utterly ridiculous. So what actually happened? Did the writers just ruin Eric Matthews? If you listen to the rewatch podcast Pod Meets World, the cast and crew have openly admitted that this massive shift was actually born out of a total behind-the-scenes role reversal. In the show's original blueprint, Sean was supposed to be the dim-witted slacker and Eric was meant to be the cool, grounded heartthrob. But as the show progressed, the writers realized that Ryder Strong excelled at excellent, heavy, dramatic acting, while Will possessed elite physical comedy timing. To play to their strengths, the show effectively swapped their roles. Sean inherited the complex, emotional family storylines, while Eric became a playground for the writers' wildest comedic ideas. On the podcast, Will Friedle even described it as an unspoken arms race with the show's creator, Michael Jacobs. The writers would see how absurd a script they could hand him, and Friedle would try to pull it all off. Combine that with the departure of the writer Jeff Sherman after season 4, the one writer who constantly fought to protect Eric's intelligence, and the guardrails completely came off. But did this behind-the-scenes pivot actually ruin the character? Or did he just secretly become the most interesting, deeply written person on the entire show? When we first meet Eric in season 1, he isn't the goofy, cartoonish character fans think of today. He's the textbook cool older brother. Corey looks up to him because Eric represents the future, everything Corey wants to become. Eric knows how to talk to people, he's confident, and he's very popular. But what made Eric compelling from the start is that underneath the perfect hair and the charm, he actually cared. He wasn't a selfish jerk. He was the guy Corey went to when he needed real advice about growing up. As the early seasons progress, the show starts pulling back the curtain. What we see is Eric is funny, but he's also quietly insecure. But underneath the surface, Eric is terrified of the future, struggling with school, completely unsure of what comes next after graduation.
Maybe you're someone who gives up too easily. What'll it be, Mr. Matthews? Who are you?
This is where the paradigm shifts. After season 5, Eric is no longer the grounded older brother. The writers started leaning heavily into Will Friedle's incredible comedic timing, pushing Eric into the hyper-exaggerated, absurd territory. The guy who says strange things, the guy who makes ridiculous choices, the guy who totally is detached from reality. That is the exact point some fans argued that the character was ruined, claiming that the writers simply made him dumb for easy laughs. Because if you put season 1 Eric and season 5 Eric in the same room, they feel like completely different human beings. The later seasons use his eccentric nature to mask a deep, moving search for identity. In season 5, Eric's Hollywood, Eric gets a taste of fame and acting. It's hilarious, but it ends with the massive realization that fame is hollow. For a guy who felt like he had no direction, walking away from stardom to stay in college with the people he loved proved he was searching for genuine purpose, not just spotlight. But if you want the ultimate proof that Eric wasn't ruined or made dumb, you have to look at the Tommy arc in season 6. Eric takes a job as a mall Santa, meets a lonely orphan named Tommy, and becomes his bigger brother. It evolves into something so profound that Eric genuinely wants to adopt him. In a devastating moment of clarity, Eric realizes that a broke, unstable college kid can't give Tommy the life and family a wealthy couple from California can. Eric makes the heartbreaking, entirely selfless choice to let Tommy go so we can have a better future.
I can't be your dad, Tommy.
Why not?
Come here. Oh! These people in California.
That is not the action of a brainless character. That is a level of emotional intelligence, maturity, and profound love that no one else in the core group ever had to display. By the final season, Eric has ironically become the emotional anchor of the entire group. In the iconic episode 7 The Hard Way, the core friendships completely fracture. While everyone else is acting bitter and stubborn, it's Eric, dressed as a mountain man named Plays with Squirrels, who delivers the absolute thesis statement of the entire series.
What does it say?
Well, lose one friend, lose all friends, lose yourself.
So why are all the other pages blank?
Nothing else seemed important.
Eric might have been the character who acted the least serious, but he was always the most fiercely loyal. His identity was tied entirely to protecting the people he loved. The biggest misconception about Eric Matthews is that his character arc was a decline from smart to stupid. Eric actually went from the person who looked like they had everything figured out to being the person brave enough to admit he had to figure himself out. The show changed, the comedy got bigger, the character became even wilder, but the beating heart of Eric Matthews never shifted. He cared deeply, he loved fiercely, and was absolutely hilarious. Maybe that's why Eric remains one of the most beloved characters from 90s TV, because underneath all the ridiculous jokes, Eric wasn't the guy who had all the answers. He was just like the rest of us, the guy still searching for him.